for popping the cork out. This is something dear to my own heart. My father, who was in both World Wars, he brought that home on his way home from Dunkirk. And it's just a wee money box with a lead soldier in front. But it's treasured in our household. It resided in the attic for quite a period, as you can see, for quite a few knocks.
Do you think your father made it?
No.
No, he just brought it back.
No, he bought it. He tried and get the little balls in the holes or mice into holes. That particular one was Bonzo. It was a cartoon character from the 20s. And it was created by, I think it was Mr. Sturdy, who was a very famous person for the sole reason of conjuring up that fella, or that dog rather. It's a tea set. Donald Campbell's speedboat. That's a corgi. And this wee sixpenny money box. You put your money in, and as it neared the top, the last sixpenny in, prized open the lid, so yeah, it was instantly open when you had saved the allotted amount. Edwardian skittle game. It's a little bit sophisticated for the age, where you could reset them by pulling the knob on the side, and then you knock them down by like so. And if it works properly,
So it's
you
really
reset the whole lot.
it's cord, isn't it? Cord underneath.
It is. It is. I just lay it out underneath to each.
Very handy. Very handy.
These are steam powered engines. They're fired by methylated spirits.
Was there water involved somewhere there, Billy?
You boil the water in this and put the tray underneath it, which you lit.
It was the mess.
It was a mess.
Yes.
And then you could drive different implements. And this is one, this little grinding wheel. That's Bowman.
Yeah, surely we would. I see it there. That we would have used those to run old, the early Meccano toys. Isn't that right? The early Meccanos.
That's possible.
That's Meccano type bases.
They were probably in cahoots with Meccano, for the all these holes correspond with Meccano.
Meccano
implements or sets.
Screws and bolts.
These are Bowman, a famous make from the 30s. Those two. That's Bing, another famous made from 1910, a German make. And here we have a little stove for a little yard. Again, you put methylated spirits in here. And you can boil up whatever you like on top. Something I don't think would be tolerated for health and safety reasons nowadays.
No, agree.
And this fella here is a good friend of my dog. My dog plays with it. It's from the 1930s. Just Brian. The amusing thing is, you almost thought it was. My dog thought that it was real, for it sniffs its bottom, goes round and sniffs its bottom halfway through the proceeding.
That's the way you work it out.
There's a Hornby train set, or several sets on accessories. The main implement or wagons are from the 40s, and the rest are pre that, probably 30s,
Yeah, and those are
underneath and stops the wagon. Conveniently stops at the right place to rewind it.
Do you remember? I'm sure you do, but you remember the train like this in Hood's shop in Newton Stewart.
I remember the toys in it.
Did they not have a
I can't
clockwork
recall
train
trains.
as well?
I can't know.
Certainly we had it in J.B. Anderson's in Omagh.
Yeah.
So we had. No, I thought Hood's had one. Yeah, wrong.
With an attached cleek. In my day, in the 40s, we used the rim of a bicycle. And there's some clockwork cars and clockwork tank.
First World War tank, yes.
Yeah, First World War tank, although that dates from the 20s. It's a German.
After the war.
Made in Germany, but
Don't
it's
tell
a
me the
British
German-
make,
the
British
German-
design.
It's a German tank, a British tank, of course. Made by the Germans, that's just what you'd expect.
And this one is was made in the USA.
It's very
That's
solid,
what
looks
made
very
the-
heavy.
Yes, it's cast iron,
Just
and
there.
it's a money box.
Oh, I see.
It was originally called a yellow cab, which was on the side of it, but very difficult to make out now.
I think it was a New York taxi then in those days,
Yeah.
was it?
Yep. Well, there's a pond yacht. It was sailed on the shores of Lough Erne around about the 1920s. The hull has been restored. It was in a terrible state originally. And this pond yacht was made by Dookie Cooper. He was a fighter pilot. I think he flew Blenheims or Mosquitoes during the Second World War. And he constructed that in the early 30s. It was sold at auction, and that's where I acquired it. And this is Teddy Bear's picnic in the corner here. I'll just get that key. I think it's ingenious.
It is ingenious.
Yeah.
Closes the boot and opens it again.
Yep. There's a magnet in the right paw for lifting the metal pages of the book.
And showed you, Stuart couldn't record them through the glass.
Aye,
No,
oh,
we
this
never-
is it, this is it.
No, they were better in your own home here.
These are Victorian baby shoes. And that one and that one. And this is for recording that or keeping that first tooth or lock of hair. It's just a little container, just very ornamental, and it's appropriate that it's made in the shape of a teat. And this fella has a long neck. And these are lozenges. Early lozenges, they're 2p an ounce, or 2d an ounce rather. And this launch is by Hobbies. This dates from 1923. Matter of fact, I have an old catalogue with it offered for sale at 22 and sixpence. Read. That's 1956, the doll says. Made by Matoy. And this little wheel barrel, it's a vegetable barrel, or rather a copy of a vegetable barrel. Very nicely made, and it's made by Swallow Toys of London. Nameplates on the side. Probably early 20th century.
He's coming back, actually.
Is he?
Yes, he's been reincarnated in one of the channels. Yes.
All right.
Correction chair, Billy.
Yeah, that's the correction chair. This one here. Sorry, I haven't got
You
the
don't
hand.
have anything?
There's a correction chair that we use to set erring children up on if they were naughty. Probably came from a good household. It's very ornamental and would have cost a bob. I would say the poorer kids were just stood in the corner. And this is hand shadows, old hand shadows of old. These were made by holding your hands together and you project the shadow onto a screen or a sheet. Most times a candle or a torch for the lighting. Some of them are ingenious.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And not too difficult to do if you
No, if you
spend your time and
Mhm.
move one hand against the other.
What kid could be bothered nowadays and rather staring at a
iPads.
computer screen? A mid-Victorian child or a doll's cot or bed. It's got the original clothing on it. As you can see, the casters are sort of dated from an early period. Beside here we have a scrapbook. It would be late Victorian, early Edwardian, where kids and their mothers collected scraps to pass the time when no television was available. This wee battleship was probably made by a father for his son. It's just got a flat bottom and you pulled it along. And I think the name of the actual boat was Revenge. I think that there was a Second World War boat called Revenge. It was an aircraft carrier.
Probably get one in every war, I would think.
Yeah, they don't interlock sort of thing. You know. You work at one side and the other would have disappeared.
And these are obviously the hoops that you have to put the balls through on the carpet. I think that's ingenious.
19th century. The unusual thing about it is it's got rockers on the bottom. So maybe that was to aid the movement, you know. So along. But it's got lovely wood in it. You can see the grain there is exceptional. It's probably 20s or 30s. You pull it along and the wheels activate the wings of the duck, which is chased by a wee dog, and it bounds along, and again it's activated by the back wheels. There's a wee doll from 1930s. In my house in Newton Stewart, in the sitting room, one of those were hung up above the sitting room and nobody was allowed to touch it, you know. But then it come to pass when my elder sister's daughter grew up, she was given it and it disappeared just after off the...
So that it should have been kept before. Yeah, I know.
There's a wee tin plate tea set. And a game of Skittles from around the 1920s. And this is Dancing Couples, probably around the 1960s. When you wind them up, they're all clockwork and they glide along, give you the impression that there's a new string on it. And there's a patent number in 1903, so it's on one side. So there's a climbing monkey. He's called Tom, by the way. It's on his hat. Music. We've got Charlie Chaplin in the back there, you'd hardly see him.
See him there, yeah. You need to be small.
You need to duck down sort of thing, and I put a string on him to give him a wee, make him dance for the youngsters, you know. I think it was intended to scare the wits out of mums when this was placed on the best tablecloth or something. It's just a bit of tin, coloured tin. But it's realistic first look. You would,
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
you would have her in hysterics. I used to be into everything, but
Is that a Vienna?
no, it's a gingerbread. It's a very unusual one because it's got this on the bottom. The only ones that I have ever seen, you could either hang them on the wall or stand them on something, on a shelf or something. This was missing, you know, so it had a weather gauge on it.
Thermometer?
Thermometer.
That's the way it was.
That's the way it was.
That's the way it was.
I know.
That's the thing.
It could be argued maybe that's the way it should be told too, you know,
Yes, right.
without a fence.
Is your fireman completely suspended on the ladder, or is he from the base, or is there something propping him up halfway up?
No, he can walk up when you wind him up.
He's
clockwork.
one of these clockwork toys, yeah.
He's clockwork.
It's amazing the number of clockwork toys you have.
There's Lindbergh's aircraft when he flew the Atlantic. That was the first person to fly the Atlantic. Those were made directly after his flight in 1928. I think he flew in 1927. 94, and they were given by a mother to her daughter. The daughter's name was Muriel, and they lived in Sligo House. No, sorry, Tully House in Sligo. We know that because the lid that's underneath has got that written on it in pen. So.
You told me that and I was still got up when I went home and I never did. But you whisked away my brains going.
But these are the pictures you can make up by rotating the blocks and some grease paint and the Tommy Hork, H-O-R-K. I hope you and your dear old reindeers are very well. He's giving Santa a wee bit of praise there to make sure he comes.
So important.
Yeah.
So important. Don't ask for too much.
Pivot it underneath and you tap them there and try to get your cone in the holes. And each hole you get a number, 4 or 5 or whatever. Right. But I'm out of practice.
Oh, you're able to land it right in the
Oh.
right in the, that's just a bit of rope.
True boy. It's a potato, but a stick and a nut. There's something similar the daughter brought home from the West Indies. It's made of shells just, but it was the same action, more or less, you know. But this is the Irish answer to it.
Yes.